don't have to do a game.
You get time.
This game recap. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that out loud?
And thank you for tuning in to a live stream, Tigers Minor League Report live stream, as we are watching the Arizona Fall League, and right now it's just the pre-game.
You got
two
incredibly jealous men on the left.
Yeah. Yeah, by the way, I don't know what's up with the fish tattoo. Was that a fish tattoo he had going on for him? I'm not really sure what's going on.
I did not see that. I was just noticing the Jonathan Mayo, and I don't know who the other guy was, but the follically challenged next to a guy with just a stunning head of hair. Kevin McGonigle showing some highlights early on. They're clearly talking about McGonigle because he's the top prospect in the game, and he will be leading off for the American League team in the bottom of the first. It's interesting the way they're doing this. Maybe it's not that interesting, but they're splitting these teams in American League and National League. So some of the teammates on Scottsdale, like Nick Morabito, is actually leading off for the National League team, while McGonigle and Anderson are on the American League team. So they've been on the same team for the first 5 weeks of this, and now they're on opposite teams.
And Ray Rivera is the manager for the American League. But yes, they are. I noticed they keep looking at the top of his head. By the way, if you know,
no, I just don't like.
Did I tell you randomly ran into Jonathan Mayo during the Seawolves playoffs?
Yeah, well, I was there. I saw him on the for the Moon Mammoths game. I didn't know you saw him at the playoffs too.
Oh no! It was. I'm sorry. It was okay. Sorry, you're right. It was the Moon Mammoths game. So that was funny because like randomly all of a sudden, he's sitting there getting a line of the hot dog. I'm like, I'm a big fan of your work, and he's like, oh, thanks. And I don't think he knew he was getting recognized, but there was him and somebody else was there too.
That is a fish tattoo. What?
Yeah, see that? Isn't it weird?
Left arm, yeah.
Aquaman.
Aquaman? Yeah, maybe I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, I saw another. There's a couple other writers there too. There was I want to say I can't, Elton, man, good to see you, man. Good to see you in here.
Yeah, there was Anthony. What's his name? Castrovents was there.
Yeah, Castrovents. That's who it was. Castrovents. Thank you. I couldn't think of this guy's name. By the way, I love how T-Mobile does. Okay, so they did their commercial with Billy Bob Thornton, and then AT&T's like, all right, you know what? We'll get another obscure upset celebrity. We're gonna get Luke Wilson, and he's gonna walk through a field too. Yeah,
really?
Yeah. He does. There's a commercial now with AT&T, and it's Luke Wilson walking through a random field in Texas somewhere, and he's talking about the signal strength of AT&T. So
that's funny.
Yeah. Fun fact, I also learned through my work that AT&T has their own blue color scheme because there's a room that they sponsored at our center, and it has to have a certain they had to come in and it had to be painted a certain blue, and AT&T has their own color blue, like similar to Dodger blue.
I don't think that's terribly uncommon, actually. I think Ford probably has their own blue. My company has its own blue, which is actually like a purple. You just pick some colors, and that's our color. We should probably pick an orange, and it's our orange.
Yeah, we should pick some sort of orange. Yeah, that's not the Tiger orange. It's maybe it's a number off or something. So
Tigers Minor League Report orange.
Yeah, TMLR. Yeah, TMLR orange. There we go. Or what about having our own orange drink, like the Ecto Cooler? Anyone out there remembers Ecto Cooler?
The Orange Rogelio.
Orangelio.
We got a Tyron Lorenzo flashback last year to the monster home run he hit.
Yeah, I like how they're slowing it down. Boom.
Ooh.
That was possibly the last good thing he did.
Yeah, it was a tough year for him this year, but
Yeah,
No.
He came through a couple times, but
Yeah, he did. And he had a good playoff too. The weather in what's up?
What was his biggest problem? Was it dealing with breaking stuff or heat?
It was everything. It was everything.
Yeah. The advanced pitching, and he's a better hitter as a right-handed hitter, and you just don't get as many opportunities. And then had some shoulder trouble, and then some off the field stuff that wasn't not to suggest like off the field like he was gambling with Luis Ortiz. He just things happen in his personal life.
Sure.
Yeah.
We're all standing here for the national anthem. There's Max Anderson.
Yeah, I should take off my hat. Respect the hat. Max Anderson, the American. Wow.
Oh.
Did not expect that dude to be the American.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he's got an opera. Oh, no. Okay. All right. That makes more sense. I thought maybe he was like an opera singer, but no, he's just leading a band. Yeah.
Maybe his arms like that's his cardio for the day.
Oh boy. McGonigle starting at short, Anderson starting at third. So, and they have a lefty on the mound, so we might get a few ground balls to the left side of the infield early in the game. So,
oh wait, Matt suggested the color number there.
Pantone 2995C.
Yeah,
let's take a look.
Yeah. Oh, no, still the anthem's still going on. Out of respect. But thank you for tuning in. If you are tuning in with us this evening, is it blue? Okay. Is that the AT&T blue?
Probably.
Okay. But yeah, so the Lions won earlier today. Did the Wings play the Blackhawks? I'm not sure if they won.
They got smoked. It was 5-1, 4-1.
Okay, and the Pistons are currently playing right now. They're leading Philadelphia 37-32 at the end of the first quarter. And the smorgasbord of sports, as Nick Spillane said earlier today, has occurred. Of course, the Lions, Jaden Daniels was not playing for Washington, but it didn't matter. They took out the revenge from last year's playoff loss. As by the way, Washington's heading to Madrid next week against Miami, so that'll be interesting.
Oh wow, yeah, that'd be a fun one to go to. Yeah, I mean the big story from that game. I wasn't. I did take a nap for most of it, but it sounded like Dan Campbell took over play calling responsibilities, which is never a great sign. But they won, so whatever. And I didn't see the Wings game, but
the problem with that is if they score 12 points next week, then what?
Yeah, you just keep passing it around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's.
I think they got the Eagles next week.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough game, but they won the game they're supposed to. So against a team that is not playing at 100%. But so the Arizona Fall League this year has, in terms of numbers, I mean Anderson, McGonigle both have been dominating the entire night. Oh, he's throwing to his son.
Torey Lovello.
Yeah. Looks like
former, wasn't he on the Tigers?
Yep.
At one point.
Yes, he was. He was going to be the future third baseman for the Tigers at some point.
Yep.
Spark Anderson was very high on him. I think it's his son. Yeah, son.
That's cool.
Yeah.
He might have gotten a little more than a cup of coffee, but not much.
Yeah. He also played in Boston too. Yeah. He had a pot of coffee.
He had a venti.
Yeah. Here's a good
press.
Yeah, they're French press. Yeah, here's a good father-son moment there. Here.
Yep. Hey, Dad, want to have a catch?
Yeah. Oh.
Throw a strike. Oh.
Yeah,
he wasn't on the ball, no.
No.
He's going to sign it. Sign it for his son.
You got to throw it from the rubber, though. Come on.
He's throwing VP, though. I mean, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, Lovello, 30 or 41 games with the Tigers over 88 and 89 seasons. Yeah, 3 games over 8 seasons as a big leaguer.
Those were the dark times. Those are becoming the dark times for the Tigers, 88, 89. So here's some Arizona Fall League. Yeah, last year the MVP was Jose Basueno, and it could be a chance another Tiger could be repeating. And this also kind of sets the stage for what we're going to see here probably in the spring, which between McGonigle, potentially Anderson. Again, that is still yet to be determined with what's going on with Anderson. But nevertheless, a good strong fall campaign doesn't hurt his cause at all.
Yeah, you treat the fall league like anything. I always compare it to like what you how you treat players who get drafted. If they do well, that's awesome. If they don't do well, they're probably tired.
Yeah.
Now it's particularly if you're a pitcher. The pitcher is like, if a pitcher goes out there and dominates, then they might be something. Like there's a guy named Hicks, I think from the Astros, who's been awesome, and it's got to perk my ears up because it's really hard to pitch well in the AFL. But we've seen.
Yeah,
we said Lorenzo hit like 350 with power and patience last year, and then hit 200 in Double A. And so that's kind of one of the things people are always like, what's the level? What's the equivalent level of the AFL? And the old answer used to be it's kind of like Double A, but I think it's basically that's too simple to say. It's really more like minor league spring training because there's guys at all sorts of different levels, and none of them care all that much until at least like the final game, like they're trying to get outs and the pitchers are don't want to get embarrassed, but they're just trying stuff. And the hitters are getting a lot of pitches that they wouldn't normally get.
By the way, the guy, it was Jeff Lance, the guy that was next to Tony Orlando, who was giving me the evil eye during the Woolly Mammoths the Moon Mammoths because I was taking a picture of him and he caught me taking a picture because I thought he looked like AJ Hinch's his brother.
Yeah, we thought he was. I forgot what we called him. I think it was BJ Hinch.
That's right. He was not happy with that.
Yeah, we were just like we weren't doing anything wrong. But yeah, if you look at it right now, by OPS. Max Anderson leads the Arizona Fall League at 1491. Good year. Columbus was getting ready.
Yeah.
And McGonigle is third at 1248. In between them is Esmeralyn Valdez, who had a monster first week. I think he hit 5 home runs in the first 7 games. And he's still doing really well. But I wonder if Anderson has only played 13 games when McGonigle has played 17 and Valdez has played 18. So if and when they do decide the MVP, it's probably going to go to the somebody who played a few more games, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and here's the thing too. We just saw Seaver King on the screen. We saw a lot of Seaver King in Harrisburg, and I don't know. Like, I'm not going to get too. We'll talk about the big league club here as well, but I'm not going to get. If you're a Nationals fan, are you going to get excited for his numbers? Because I thought in Harrisburg he was okay at best. I thought he struck out a lot.
There's a reason they broomed the entire Nets front office. It wasn't Seaver King alone, but when you look at who they passed over to take Seaver King, it's pretty damning. That draft is already looking like one of the best first rounds in the last 2 decades, and I think they passed over. They didn't take Bryce Rayner because they wanted a shortstop, I guess, who was closer. And let me see who else. They didn't take Trey Savage. They didn't take Cam Smith. All right, I'm looking at it right now. Seaver King went 10th overall. So Bryce Rayner went next. Braden Montgomery, who was also in this game, went after that. Cam Smith went 14th. Durandro Sinche. Carson Benj went 19th. Trey Savage 20th. So I don't know. They'd probably like to have that back, but he was a tooled-up guy, and he could play shortstop. It's just one of those guys who's super aggressive and kind of gets himself into trouble because he doesn't know when to not swing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like the Nationals are going to be interesting if they're going to just tear down. If they're going to, I don't want to say necessarily tear down, but their I know draft approach is going to be definitely changing, but they just hired that young. They hired that young manager, right? Or yeah,
33-year-old with the same last name as a former big leaguer, but I don't know how related they are.
Yeah,
this is Nick Morabito, I think.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's also on the Scorpions, the Scorps with McGonigle and Anderson, and is typically batting in the top 3, and he's always on base, and he's stolen like 14, 15 bases already in the AFL. Good all-around center fielder, I think.
Yeah, this is the Mets have prospect capital. I know we're gonna, Super is one of the teams that the Scooble, who by the way has been out to a lot of Arizona Fall Leagues games because he lives out that way. By the way, I just realized their name's Sloan Park, and Sloan. I don't know if you guys know, Sloan is a toilet company.
Mm-hmm.
So just as a heads up. No, the Mets have a lot of prospect capital, and the Mets are one of the teams that could be in line for school services. And again, it could be a big nothing burger too. So this is the part of the offseason that I don't like is the insistent everyday, I guess, fake trade stuff. Because I think a lot of it's just that, we got to keep things in the news cycle.
Yeah. Got to keep feeding the beast every day with some kind of rumor or speculation, and it's just
And
when you're talking about a guy like Scooble who's at the top of the food chain, I mean that's just going to generate a lot of ink.
Yeah. By the way, Warbello was part of that winning team for Binghamton, the won the AA championship, beating Erie on the road. So it was congratulations.
Is he the guy who made the crazy jumping catch in left field?
Yes, it was. Yes, he was.
Yeah, I mean he's a good player.
Yeah.
This Orioles reliever looks. I mean he's starting, but he looks like a reliever to me down the road. But I know he's in their top, 30-ish or whatever. A lot of these guys are. Interesting arm. Looks like he hides it pretty well. Oh, there you go.
Oh, nice catch, sir. Oh, it's still considered a catch, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a catch, isn't it? Yeah. We got our that's Seaver King swinging at the second pitch.
Yeah.
But you saw he hit it hard. He'll take that. It's a good swing. We've got our rules expert here, Mike Pereira. Pereira.
Yeah, that's a catch.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Is that Enrique Bradfield?
Yeah.
Yeah. Surprised. Who they have playing center? They just showed it.
Let's see here.
Braden Montgomery. Wow, that's interesting. Unless that's Benny Montgomery. No, it's Braden Montgomery.
Parks Harbor.
Parks Harbor. This is a classic baseball name. You take two geographic features and put them together. You've got yourself a baseball name. Forest Wall.
Parks
Harbor.
Wasn't there a guy named Lane Fields back in the day? I think
that sounds right. But yeah, Parks Harbor sounds like a nice place to live. He is also on Scottsdale, I believe. That swing's not going to work.
That's going to be. He's a guy who. The typical neighborhood. It's probably like a nice, rich suburb near Baltimore or something like that, near the harbor, of course.
Yeah, there's.
But before we didn't even get a chance to talk about it a little bit, he was with the Yankees. I think he was part of a trade, I want to say.
Parks Harbor was?
Yeah, Parks Harbor.
Oh, well, yeah, that would have been if he's with San Francisco now, that probably would have been for Doval then, right?
Yeah.
Or did they get somebody? They got somebody else in that deal. Let's see. Let's take a look. Parks Harbor. But yeah, you got McGonigle and Anderson coming up now, so that should be fun. I expect him to get 3 at-bats in the game.
Seems like that would work, yeah.
A little Doval. Looking for the trades.
Crazy Clown with the baseball is boring. Yes, these commercials are boring too. Crazy Clown, unfortunately.
Let's see. Yeah, Carlo. Yeah, traded by the Giants or by the Yankees to San Francisco for Carlos De La Rosa, Parks Harbor, Jesus Rodriguez, and Tristan Vreeling. Not Veerling. But look at that. Helps release body heat.
Copperfit.
Wonder if they have they advertise any catheters during this game.
All the old people products. Like I'm just waiting for the Depends the Depends commercial.
Sure.
Parker Meadows, good call there, Seabuck.
Yeah, Seabuck. Yeah. Oh, about what?
These names of geographic features.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Living by the Parker Meadows.
Look at guy doing the Tour de France here wearing that thing. Come on.
Yeah.
Rock shoulders.
I'm talking about. Let's talk about the. I'm trying to think of I feel like there's a Tiger that another former Tiger that would fit this qualification.
There we got McGonigle.
I mean, isn't Walker Buehler kind of? Nah. Well, Walker. No. I think of another one. It's Oh, you know what I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of former. Okay. The former Duke center Cherokee Parks.
Oh, there you go.
He had the sideburns. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, and then he was like Christian Linear Jr., and then he ended up getting all tattooed. And we've got a 1-pitch pop out for McGonigle.
Oh my!
to the hated Nacho Alvarez Jr.
Thank you. Oh, right there. Stop it. Champ Summers. That's another
Champ
former
Summers.
Tiger.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's good.
That's a good flashback.
That was a pitch right down the middle. McGonigle just got under from Carson Milbrandt, who I believe is with the Marlins. He is, in the Solar Sox. I don't know if there's anything particularly special about him. Like I said, the pitching in the AFL is never.
He has a funky windup, that's for sure.
It is. It's a little bit of an unusual look.
It's coming to a sword, like he's gonna get pull out a sword or something.
There's like the old school kind of over your head wind up, and then just kind of truncated.
This is Brady Montgomery.
Yeah, who was of course drafted by the Red Sox and then traded to the White Sox in the Chris Sale deal. It was
not the sale deal, the crochet deal, right?
I'm sorry, you're right. Yes, the crochet deal. Yeah, he was a switch hitter and a two-way player, I think, briefly at Stanford, and then he moved to Texas A&M, I think, for his junior year, and then got hurt.
Really nasty broken leg.
Yeah. And so he slid. So he was one of the guys drafted after Seaver King and Bryce Rayner.
So he goes to the slider here.
There was some thought that he was going to have to give up switch hitting. I don't remember if it was left side or right side where he was worse, but Milbrandt's throwing 96, 97. Like he touched 99.
Something that we didn't see a lot from the Tigers starters in the minor leagues this year. Something that
not much velocity at all.
Yeah. And the Marlins Marlins can raise some pitching. That's something the Marlins have been able to do the last couple of years.
Yeah, and it just keeps coming. They've got that DeFrank kid down in the Dominican Summer League who was throwing 100. Chris Rodriguez hit a homer off of him. All right.
Change up, curve, and sweeper from Carson. Carson with a K, not C, because it makes yourself distinguishable.
Yeah.
Oh, try it again. No,
the delivery does remind me of somebody, but I can't.
It just comes to the set like he's gonna pull a sword, like and then he's gonna throw that away.
Seen a lot of people doing that little hide the ball behind their hip thing lately.
Yeah,
more than normal. It's becoming a thing.
Orlando Cepeda, that's another one. We can get away with that. That'll be a good one.
So now we've got Max Anderson up here, a man on.
Right-handed. Ooh, a nice pitch there.
Slider, cutter. Max Anderson hitting 465.
Yeah. He's been playing a lot of third base.
Yeah.
He's one of those rare guys who can say he's cooling off and hitting 465.
That's true. He did start out hitting like 550. I think we're getting a challenge here on this next pitch. If game day is telling me the truth.
It'll
be a little bit fun. A little two-seam action on that.
Oh. See here. Because they did have that was a nice swing back on it.
Yeah. Let's see. All right. Let's show it. Show it.
Oh,
sorry. Good eye, Max Anderson.
Yeah. Just missed, though. That was pretty close.
Mm-hmm. I had a comp for Max Anderson earlier today that I shared with Raj. I will share it with you all in just a moment. You won't be happy. Oh, there's a swing and miss and a slider.
Yeah, that looks like a sweeper there on that pitch there. Either way.
Is it a former Tiger?
It is a former Tigers prospect.
Yes.
Who played second base and third base.
Look at that spin on
who was a pretty good pure bat to ball hitter who had some power, but swung at everything.
Was he a favorite of Raj's?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I would.
So it's not Lipsius.
No. Okay. Lipsius walked a lot more. They have kind of the same body type and athleticism. I'll give you that. This is a guy that I don't think anybody liked, unfortunately. But he was one of their top prospects when they traded for him.
They traded for him.
A second baseman, third baseman. Swung at everything.
Yeah.
Some power, some hitting ability, but swung at everything.
Had a cup of coffee with the Tigers, right? Yeah, he had a cup of coffee, right?
Yeah, he played. We're talking during the dark ages here in the late teens.
Oh, okay.
Johnny Formello. Good prospect here. people talk about the Mariners as being a potential trade partner for the Tigers. Formella might be one of those guys you would look at.
Yeah, definitely.
This guy's supposed to be really like a major athlete, right?
Yeah.
I think he was from the Virginia State. He's a high schooler, but it's
interesting.
pretty
Interesting swing too. Like just
he's got his bat back there like V-Mart.
Yeah.
And you have pine tar all over his back.
So you're going a little farther back than Jace Young.
Yeah, there's some similarities with Jace Young, but Jace Young was very patient. Just can't hit. Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Anderson is kind of the opposite. He swings it too much, but usually hits it if it's in the zone.
You can tell these commercials.
What do you got?
Yeah, what do you got? Oh, I know who it is, but yeah,
Dawel Lugo. Dawel Lugo, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Anderson's a slightly better version than Dawel Lugo, but even a slightly better version of Dawel Lugo is not likely to be a great big leaguer. But we'll see. Maybe he can cut down on the swings at bad pitches, but those are guys that I just don't trust, the guys who swing at everything and put the ball in play, because big league pitchers will let you do that. And I talked about this a bunch with Jack Caglione from the Royals, like just, bombed his way through the minors because they don't have the control with big leaguers. I think he was like one of the worst players in the big leagues this year by WAR, just because big leaguers like, all right, well, if you're going to swing at everything, then I'm going to throw this a foot outside, and you won't be able to get the barrel to it. Now, Anderson, I don't think is quite that aggressive, but he also doesn't have the 80 grade raw power that Caglione does. So it's going to be tough, but I don't mean to down him too much. He's performed very well, and he's a solid prospect. I just don't look at him as like a key piece of the future. We got Hagen Smith coming in now.
Oh, nice.
Speaking of first round draft picks, Hagen Smith was he 4th overall in 2024?
Yeah, I think so. As far as pitchers go for the Tigers, it's just Kenny Suara, Jake Miller, unknown. I think he's still recovering from his injuries. So his back injury, but they really did not. They've been kind of rather mysterious about that again. So, but the only thing I can think of is essentially his back is still not 100%. So they would rather not go and press their luck, and I don't blame them. So, but
Hagen Smith was 5th overall in last year's draft. Nick Kurtz was 4th overall.
That was a good pick.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting, heading into that draft, the top 2 pitchers it was pretty clear it was Chase Burns and Hagen Smith. And Trey Savage was considered the 3rd best pitcher. And then at the very late, Durangelo Cinche was kind of moving up in the draft. He went before Savage. But, Smith did not have a great first full pro season. I think he was injured a little bit and was walking a lot of guys. You could tell. I think it's a tough angle, but he had Tommy John, I think, in high school. But the Tigers pitchers, you got Kenny Serwa as the knuckleballer starter there. They also have Carlos Lecorica, a reliever, Dario Fregio, a reliever. And they recently brought in Pedro Garcia, who was a younger, kid who's been pitching down in Lakeland. He's not to be mean, but he's just kind of a body, right? Like he's like a 91, 92 mile an hour fastball.
That's too bad. It'd be nice to have the second Pedro Garcia in team history of the Tigers.
Well, who knows? Maybe he'll defy my evaluation.
That's right. I forgot that Smith's got that really weird wind up to, or really weird setup to him when he goes to the plate. But Suara did okay. I mean, he's not in the Arizona. I mean, he's not in the All-Star game. But, I mean, the Tigers were underwhelming when it came to pitching prospects this year. But I also think it's because a lot of them were injured.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's why, Jake Miller coming here would have been great. It seemed like a perfect fit because he missed a lot of the season. He was here last year, and he needed some innings. Normally when guys get injured, that's how they end up in the Arizona Fall League, pitchers at least.
Yeah.
And it was kind of hard to figure how they picked the guys they did. I mean, this is three, well, now I guess 4 now. 4 undrafted pitchers are out there in Arizona. Kenny Serwa and Dario Frejio were both guys that they like picked up in the middle of the season. Serwa was what was it, a tread showcase, and Frejio was a driveline showcase, and then Lequerica was a guy they signed as a undrafted free agent after the draft a couple of years ago. So, I wouldn't necessarily call them high priority prospects. I don't know. It almost feels like they're gaming the system by sending guys out there that we're going to end up cutting these guys anyway. I don't know. Maybe they really like all three of them. I don't see a ton there. And with a knuckleballer, it's just always hard to tell.
Ooh. Ripped that
Line
one.
drive rotor McGonigle's head. Oh, is that Farmello?
Oh, then you got in there.
Hagen Smith. That leadoff walk will get you every time, Hagen. Now we got the dreaded Nacho Alvarez.
Nacho.
Oh,
Kind of annoying that a guy who hit 2 home runs against the Tigers in a huge game down the stretch is also in the Arizona Fall League All-Star game, but he is relatively young.
that's just about he did just enough to pretty much remember that as the Nacho Alvarez game, right?
Yeah,
It's kind
that's
of
right. Didn't he make didn't he get the walk-off hit, or not the walk-off, but
Oh, but yeah, he had a big hit. He had a big hit.
well, hitting the ninth
ahead,
off,
yeah.
off best, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, unbelievable.
And of course, Nacho is a very common sort of nickname for people named Ignacio.
Yeah. Easier on the American palate, if you will, language-wise.
Also delicious.
Yeah, also delicious. Just as like everybody was named Willie back in the 60s and 70s. Everybody was Willie instead of whatever
William.
name. Yeah. Power
William.
limitation. It says power limitation. Well, Comerica Park disagrees with that.
He used
Well,
it all
that's
up.
what was annoying about it is that, he's a guy, I think those were his first 2 big league home runs, or maybe his second and third. I think we saw him in the spring breakout game. They played the Braves this year, right? In the spring breakout. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's been a kind of a Tigers sort of player. He makes a lot of contact. He was a legitimate shortstop, but he seems to have thickened up a little bit. He's probably now a third baseman without a ton of power. So yeah.
And there we go.
Okay.
Without
Kiter. What are you doing, Kiter? You don't hang that one. Oh no, Finnegan. Hanging. He got a hanging breaking ball and a hanging splitter. These, jerks.
Unreal.
I remember I was in the press box for one of them, and I was like, "Who the hell is Nacho?"
Was I think I might have been
Yeah.
there. That.
Yeah, I think
Was
you
it?
were. Yeah.
Batting out of the 9 hole.
By the way, is that new for Atlanta? Has Atlanta ever done that before? Their away jerseys
I didn't notice.
that they have, like, it's not
Oh,
Braves.
Max Anderson. Max Anderson. Nicely done.
There you go.
Good job. McGonigle with the tag out. They keep the guy from getting to second.
Fundamentally
Play
sound.
over. Yeah, that's good. You'd like to see that.
Fundamentals. Nice play there.
Yeah.
Oh.
McGonigle covering third. Well done. We got Blake Mitchell from the Royals. We'll be seeing him soon.
Yeah. The Royals are in an interesting
Look at
system.
that pure athleticism in Max Anderson.
The Royals are an interesting system too, because some of their players are going to be, Perez is going to be going here away or retiring soon, and but at the same time, guy was it Jocktober? What's it? I'm trying to think of the big first baseman they drafted. Was kind of underwhelming.
Caglione, yeah.
Yeah, Caglione was kind of not. It was expected to blow up a little bit. He did not. And I don't know. It feels like some of the guys that the Royals have drafted in the last 5 or 6 years were projected to be bigger than what they are, and it has not happened.
Yeah. I do like that Carter Jensen, the catcher, not this catcher, the other guy.
Yeah, we got a couple of them that. Yeah, Carter Jensen came up, didn't he?
Yeah.
It's interesting. The book on Hagen Smith kind of coming into the draft was that he had better command of his slider than his fastball, and so far that's kind of seems to be true. And then you got Chris Suero up. Suero hit a home run, I think, in Game 2 of the Eastern League Championship while we were there for Binghamton.
As far as his outside of his knuckleball, stop it. I don't really think he's been able to.
Well, I mean,
it really depends. I mean, I don't like. I think it's his secondary pitches are. I don't know. None of them stands out to me.
You don't really do that as a knuckleballer, generally speaking. It's he has two different versions of the knuckleball. There's that slider. One of them is a little bit harder in the 80s, and one of them slower in the 70s. And he can throw a fastball that'll be like 88 to 92. I think he's been up to like 94, so he can sneak that by you. And it's funny when you go and watch the Baseball Savant or the Statcast, Hawkeye, all the tracking, it does not really know how to classify knuckleballs on the fly. So every time you go there, it's either called a curveball or a cutter or a slider, and you're like, that's a knuckleball. I've said this many, many times. The only way to find out if a knuckleballer is any good is to have him in the big leagues pitching against big leaguers and succeeding for like 2 consecutive years, because it's just I don't know. I think what Emily told us is that a scout told her the way to judge a knuckleball is if it's fooling the catcher, then it's probably going to fool the batters. So if he's throwing a bunch of wild pitches with it, then it's probably a pretty good knuckleball. But I don't know. Oh, that was Starlin Caba. That's he was a top 100 prospect for a little bit from the Phillies because he's legitimate like 70, 80 grade defender at short number. Oh yeah, Luzardo.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Just couldn't remember who the pitcher was. I know he was just part of that. It was an inter-division trade there. By the way, if anybody has not had a chance to speak of the Marlins, because I was thinking of David Sampson, because I watched the Expos documentary on Netflix. David Sampson is a guy.
Yep.
Is it Sampson?
No, I don't. Sorry, I was just go ahead.
He comes across as kind of like. I didn't know he was Jeffrey Loria's son, well, stepson, if you will, but adds the mystique.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Did you watch it yet?
No. Not yet, but I'm going to. Absolutely.
Yeah, he comes across. I mean, I got nothing. I mean, Jeffrey Loria has been a long. For those who've listened to the podcast for either the Motor City Metrics going back a couple years or so, Matt would contest to this. Jeffrey Loria has been the butt of a lot of jokes on this podcast, and he will continue to be.
I was going to say, deserve it.
Yeah, and the Marlins, and the whole Expos thing was interesting because it does come together outside of other multiple factors than just him, but it was eye-opening in the sense that you realize how much talent that team had. I mean, not just the 90s teams. The 80s, they had a bunch. They had really the Expos could have been a dynasty if you thought about like in the East. They were always a competitive team. Steve Rogers, they lost to the Dodgers in '81, and then it was just like you talk about. You realize that Canada in Game 6 and 7 of the World Series, Toronto experienced some of the heartbreaking losses. It dawned on me. Rick Monday in 1981 did the Expos, and so like. Dodgers have caused a lot of damage to the Canadians' psyche, baseball-wise.
No question.
Rick Monday.
Yeah,
those teams in the '80s were so. Living in the UP, I got a lot of Canadian baseball up there. Before we had cable and all that stuff, we didn't even get the Tigers, but we got the Expos and Blue Jays. So, I got to watch so much of Ellis Valentine and all those dudes. It was a lot of fun. Awesome.
That's Mitchell, the Kansas City Royals catcher, off the reliever, Jack Dallas. Philadelphia reliever, Jack Dallas.
Jack Dallas. It sounds like a guy who's going to be he's a second in command in a mob. Jack Dallas.
I'm pretty sure we saw him. I don't know if we saw him in person, but I'm pretty sure we saw him against Erie at some point this year. I think it's been all his year.
With the Reading? Yeah.
Jack Dallas.
Jack Dallas, everybody.
He's a member of the Dallas Jacks.
No poppers.
Oh yeah. Really felt like winter driving in the snow from West Michigan to Cincinnati this afternoon. That was a high strike, but I thought that caught the top of the zone too.
Yeah.
Who challenged it?
The hitter.
Oh, who's the hitter? What do we got? We got Tommy White, Tommy Tanks. You should know better than that, Tommy. Are they going to show us? They're not going to show us.
Oh,
Yeah, you know what, Kevin?
Oh, see, that one looked a little more iffy to me.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, winter meeting. I mean, they have the GM meeting starting this week in Vegas, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Winter meetings are in Orlando, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, you know what though, Alan, you're right about the Expos. They signed a lot of international scouting. They were really, really just aggressive with that, and they did a really good job with it. And they no stone turned unturned there. But yeah, Kevin, the weather today sucked. I woke up today at 5 a.m. because I can't sleep. And and there was not that much snow here in southeastern Michigan. But it does feel really early for it, but at the same time, like, it just sucks because I still have leaves. Like, here's my old man, having an old man moment here. I have my leaves to finish, and I can't finish them because they're all wet now, and it sucks. So, anyway.
I spent most of Friday afternoon, Friday night and Saturday afternoon doing the leaves.
Yeah, it's pain in the ass.
I was able to get most of them. And I was able to get the gutters a couple days before that. But
that's what I got to finish. I still have to finish the gutters. That's it. So the White Sox, by the way. So getting back to the White Sox farms, like we have we have a heavy dosage of the AL Central here. And let's get a pitch there.
I'll change it, I guess. Sam Antonacci?
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't know much about Mr. Antonacci other than seeing his name. Sam Antonacci.
Yeah, this
5th rounder by the White Sox last year. Made it up to Double-A this year.
not bad.
Not much of a power hitter, but 48 steals, 291 with 5 homers and 48 steals. So maybe a bit of a Seth Stevenson.
He's from Illinois too, so he went to Coastal Carolina where they drafted him out of, but he was originally grew up in Springfield, Illinois.
Oh, there you go.
So local talent.
So you guys are going to hate me this year, because when we moved here to Minnesota, this yard is the biggest yard I've ever owned, sadly, which was stupid. Also has the most mature trees of any yard I've ever had. Because we've usually been in newer homes with like one tree, right? So I have so many leaves this year. I actually just paid some company to do it for me.
Yeah,
I'm a lazy bastard. That's how lazy I got this fall.
You did move a lot, to be fair.
So shout out to Luke's mowing snow. We're doing a hell of a job.
Mr. Plow. Oh, I was gonna say Mr. Plow. There we go. All right. Yeah, I was supposed to. Yeah, Christmas lights. Too early for that. You know that.
My friends, they just took down all their Halloween decorations, and rather than put up the regular decorations in the house, they just decided to go straight to Christmas, which makes sense. Whatever.
Yeah.
You got 2 options. You could do that, or you could just not decorate, which is what we do.
So your house, I think, would be really hard to do, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people out here who pay to have somebody come and put lights up for them, which was crazy to me. But then I guess it's not that crazy. A lot of people do it, and it's a good business if you're into it.
Yeah, but it makes sense because just based off some of, for example, how your garage is positioned and your lights. So
I don't think Enrique Radfield's going to hit at all.
Yeah,
I don't know what. I mean, he's always a very fast guy and a good defender, but not sure this stance.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is gonna,
I'm not a fan of the stance at all. It was going to be late on everything.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, feels like he shouldn't be open. It feels like he should have a closed stance and kind of just slap at the ball. But
yeah.
What do I know? I'm no Cody Asher.
Available to go work with him.
No, yeah,
And
that was Beauregard's choice.
Adam Strinsky is going to be leading off for the Brewers next inning, so that's where the
Josh Adamczewski. Who are they bringing in? Anderson Brito coming in.
So Beauregard left on his own?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was all those guys, they had their contracts up, and he chose to do something else.
So it's not necessarily that they held him in low regard? Oh, I said it.
It's possible that they did, but yeah, as I understand it, yeah, I think he's got young kids. He lives in Arizona. He may have just wanted something closer to home. But all right, we'll see.
So another baseball news today, by the way, the Ortiz and Clase A stuff. All right, guys. All right, listen. He wanted Josh to go. I know I understand the Tigers thing, but let's all chill out here. I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah, I think we can go ahead and get rid of Diddy balls with the Barry Wood logo.
Yeah, I don't want some guy. Yeah,
I don't know what's going on. This is what happens when you have live chats. Some people show up and, yeah.
No, but what was I saying? So I lost my train of thought because now I'm thinking about Diddy Paul's damn logo.
McGonigle, Clase.
Oh, but yeah, so yeah, the whole thing came down right now, and it all came out for what, $12,000 worth of bets.
Yeah, I mean that's what they've got him for. It's remarkable.
Probably not likely they got caught the first time out of the shoot. They've probably been doing it for a while.
Yeah,
it's just what's wild to me is that I guess I kind of get it. Hey, Rene Rivera,
there we go.
Manager of the year in the Florida State League, won a title in his first year there for the Lakeland Flying Tigers, who frankly had no business winning that.
Yeah,
given, I mean they played really well and they had a lot of mature talent, but
a lot of injuries.
Yeah, I mean they lost two best hitters and lost some of their best pitching along the way too. But what were you saying? Yeah, I don't know. I get it. I would understand if players don't quite, if you're not a hardcore gambler, you might not know that they have ways to track and make sure, whenever something looks a little bit suspicious. I can't ordinarily you might be getting $5,000 bets on one individual pitch for every game, and then suddenly there's $400,000 on one pitch.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to pick that out. And like I said, I would kind of understand if players didn't think about that, but you would think that people making these bets would understand that and that understand that they're going to get caught doing that. But I guess not.
Yeah, the amount of prop bets is ridiculous. I mean, I just didn't realize how many prop bets are out there.
Yeah, and it's you could do it. I think you could do it pretty easily if you just are a little bit less greedy, right? You I don't know, maybe you make 10 bets in one game on individual pitches and you go 6-4, right?
Well, you got to have less of an electronic paper trail for them to, texting each other. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's not great. You got a bunch of people who, I hate to dwell on this, but we've talked a bunch about, how bad the system is for these Latin American players. And how often they're out of school by the time they're 12 or whatever. And so you're ripe for being, and a lot of times, you're in poverty or destitute or whatever, and people give you money at the front end and, you end up not getting nearly as much as you should because you've promised 40% or whatever to somebody. So it's just, not that I'm excusing what these guys did. It's just it's ugly all around, and it's going to keep happening, I think.
Yeah, it's going to get worse. I don't think it's going to get any better unless there's some sort of regulation for it. And unfortunately, I don't see that happening. I mean, every day there's a new commercial. Wow, that was a nice pitch there by Brito.
Yeah.
There's a new commercial, the new commercial by the various companies. And so there's draft millionaires. There's that one where those people are riding a unicycle into a energy void for some strange reason, and it's obnoxious, but it's not going to change. I mean, that's a nice pitch there.
Who was the basketball player that got nailed last week for leaving a game with a fake injury for the over/under? Miami Heat guy.
I didn't even see that.
Oh, is it it was a part of the indictment with
Terry Rozier?
Yeah.
He was averaging 14.5 a game. I think his over/under for the night was 15 or something, and he left the game after 9 minutes.
Yeah.
Terry Rozier, thank you. Right there, that was a Look, it's just like I said. I will say this. I don't know. I'm not the biggest expert on gambling at all when it comes to these prop bets, but I know that it is like to the point where people are texting me like, "Hey, you can win like $2,000 on slots," and like there's other little things they're doing. People are it's an addiction. People are going to start losing their ass more and more. So
there's just so many ways to do it. Like over under on points, balls and strike.
Yeah.
The NBA ref a few years ago they always won the over because he called all fouls in the fourth quarter.
Tim Donaghy.
Kept running up free throws. I mean, didn't even decide who won, really. Just called the game so tight that it was a free throw contest.
Here, take a screenshot of that right there. Oh, sorry. You had the question up, who will be the starting second baseman, and then they showed a picture of Kevin McGonigle.
Yeah.
It really does depend on if they go after Bregman again and get him, or if Torres comes back. Like, it's tough for me to say. Like, I feel like if I were Gleyber Torres, I might take the qualifying offer because you're not going to get $22 million anywhere else. It just depends on how long of a contract he wants. But even still, I can't picture him getting more than 3 or 4 years from anybody. So if Torres comes back, then I think it's pretty obviously going to be him. And then it's a matter of, is Colt Keith your starting third baseman, and are they putting McGonigle at here's McGonigle. Bare hand play.
Nice.
I'm going to go ahead and post that.
Yeah, I was going to say you should clip that. There we go.
Umpire with the classic pull and punch there.
Yep. Capturing the key part of the play.
That's right.
Also, you're hidden behind the black dot of Zerke.
That's okay.
By the way, Chris, I got the screenshot of that. So, yeah. So there we go. Somebody asked in the chat if Zerke. If you go to my Twitter at Rajcast81 or Rajcast Baseball, I'm about to post a question right here. Take a screenshot of that.
Kevin McGonigle, defense at shortstop. If he, has some growing pains as a rookie, let's say, but he's still a quality player. Let's say he has a 105 OPS plus. Okay, not great, but certainly acceptable. Is his defense passable enough at shortstop to justify that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. So then, Coins asked him where we fit Max Anderson. The thing is that I think Max Anderson has played himself onto he's a right-handed hitter, which makes him unique because Tigers are very lefty focused. But I think that what we're going to see here in the next couple months, we're going to see the next month or so, if they sign a guy like Bregman or something like that to that effect, I think you're going to see McGonigle might not start I don't think he's going to start the year. If he starts the year in Toledo, Mark, I think it's probably for a short period of time. Then he gets the call up. But Anderson, you can put him in a trade conversation. You can address a starter for that way. You need starting pitching really bad. You also, what it would do with Hyu Lee. Hyu Lee is also part of the equation too. So Tigers have to kind of look at both those guys and go, well, where we're going to put them, because between the three of them, only one's going to have a spot in this roster. That's what I think, because I think that if they want to go eternal option at third, it would be more likely. Would they give Anderson a shot? Maybe, but again, you also have to consider what you're going to do with Young, which if they trade Jace Young, they're not going to get much back for him, because I think they tried to trade them before Uber and they didn't get too much of a field for him. So we'll see what happens. Is it just? I just hope the Tigers don't do a big nothing burger for everything that's happened. So, yeah.
To me, Max Anderson is the sort of player who has to come up and prove it in the big leagues before you can get any value for him. as fans, we kind of look at the stats and the production and see that and go, hey, this is a guy who people want and people should want. And it's just not that, like, I think evaluators still look at him and look at the tools and project it to the big leagues, and they're right to be skeptical because he's not a plus athlete. He has plus raw power, but his swing path still takes a lot of the balls to center and to the opposite field. So it's really more doubles. I mean, he could get to 15, 20 homers maybe in his prime. And maybe, sometimes guys just learn to pull the ball in the air a little bit more as they get older. But he's a guy he's got to hit and hit for power to have any value, because he's going to be fringy at best at second and third, and he doesn't walk. He's walking a lot in the AFL, so maybe that's something he's improving on. But it's just not. I don't know. It's not somebody like you go out and you target. You're like, we want this guy. He's going to be the core of our future. Like, he could be a solid piece if he keeps hitting like he has. You bet him 7th or 8th in a big league lineup, and he can help you out if you have a hole at second or third. The Tigers just happen to have, like you said, Raj, how you Lee, McGonigle, Colt Keith, maybe Bregman, maybe Torres. Like, there's a lot of other options there.
Yeah, and not to mention, too, the one thing about Anderson this year that comes to mind is his first year he's really done anything in terms of being healthy, and he had a really good year. So it's like you got to show another year of that. And I like what B. Foster Child said. Look, Lee, in some of his advanced numbers, looking at him and doing an article on him, can make a case too. But the problem is that his swing mechanics and all that, he has to make sure that he is a guy that makes better decisions at the plate. He struggles with velocity a little bit, and that's where Lee does not. It was clearly a ball. I thought that was a ball the first time it was called.
Yeah, we got McGonigle up right now, by the way.
Yeah, so must see Kevin, must see McGonigle here. See her.
Yeah, well, and one thing we'll say about McGonigle is, for the most part, you're going to have to throw him a strike. You can get him swinging maybe at a splitter that drops out of the zone at the last second, or a really nasty slider or whatever. But if you're throwing fastballs and lazy sliders that are out of zone, he's not swinging. So, in addition to being a great hitter, he's also he's got a lot of patience, and he's got more power. I think people finally saw the power this year that we started to see last year.
Whoa.
What are we doing? Look at him. Oh, look at that.
Oh, he's doing the
Eddie
bingo.
McGoo. Oh, McGonigle. I'm going to have to clip that too.
Yeah. Clip that.
A walk double.
Yeah.
A wackle. A
wobble.
A wobble.
Yeah. It's like, oh, man, I had to run that much? Damn. Let's see here. How bad the. Well, the fact he got it. But look at the pictures, like, whoa, what's going on? Oh, it's crazy.
He gets the wobble.
Yeah.
Well done.
That's heads up. Yeah, Mark called it. That is a heads up play there. That's a smart baseball play there.
So going back to Anderson quick, before, talking about him before McGonigle hit, I think the big thing there is he had a good year in the minors. He's done obviously great in the AFL. People get a little enchanted with that, right? And assume that he has to be used right away. But really, the Tigers have all the time in the world with him. I mean, it sucks for him, but they don't. I mean, it wouldn't shock me at all if he barely got a cup of coffee this year and played well in Toledo.
Yeah, no, and it is it's a predicament for the Tigers. It's a good thing too. By the way, B. Foster mentions Valencia, and what the whole thing about the reason why he's not been in the conversation, to answer your question, is, or part of the mystery is that he essentially, his defense, and I was talking to Gabe about this, Gabe Alvarez, the manager of the Mud Hens, that really essentially he just has to work on his defense, and even between catching and first base. He's a good receiver, but he's got a good arm on him, but he just needs a little bit of fine tuning. But Valencia is definitely, he lost some weight. He worked on his swing, and Valencia had the best year, quietly had one of the better years in the minor league system. And I believe he's Rule 5 eligible. Is that correct, Chris?
He is. Yeah. I think he has been for several years now, because he's an international guy who's 25.
Yeah.
So now we got, look at that. Because McGonigle hustled that into a double. And then Braden Montgomery with a deep drive to get him over to third. Now Max Anderson has a chance to drive him in.
Jim Beller makes a good point too. I mean, how many good years does he have left? He's played only 114 games this year. The problem is, Jim, I think the thing is that the reason why I wouldn't mind, depending on the deal, is you give a veteran hitter. The Tigers do desperately need a veteran hitter. You just can't go all rookies out there, all young guys. I mean, they're going to be maturing. There's going to be part of the process, but I still think they need another veteran hitter out there. Okay, and then
There you go.
Was that Anderson scored McGonigle?
Yeah, with a
Chopper.
scorching grounder. Left
Off
his
of-
bat at a saucy 79.9 miles per hour and a negative 25-degree launch angle. But put the ball in play, right? Tigers could have used a little bit of that down the stretch.
Yeah, they just played Cleveland ball there, right there with that play.
I was going to put it up, but I can't do that. I can't bring myself to put up a weak grounder to second.
Yeah, it's against her philosophy. It's against her philosophy. It's not fun. The fundamentals was for him going to the second.
All right, I'll put it in.
Joe, that's what we need, Anderson. Too many hard hit grounders from our team. Those soft ones need to get the runner in. Yes, productive outs is all of that. Yeah, it is a productive out though. But the American League up 2-0 right now in the top of the third inning. Thank you again. Thank you for joining us this evening as the Arizona Fall League All-Star game. And then the championship game is, I believe, on Saturday, I think. So, and then right now the Pistons are down by 2 in the third quarter. They're playing in Philadelphia. Swing and sacrifice bunt, Chris, according to Kevin.
So
Uper, I was going to ask you, are you with this Scooble stuff? Where do you stand with this as far as we go as the Tigers head or the game goes in a commercial break?
Sure.
You think it's all fluff?
I have zero issue. There are a lot of people who say you got to get something for him. I don't agree. I think with where the team is, if they really want to decide to go for it one more year with him, I have zero issue with that. And you can still, if it all falls apart, trade him at the deadline and probably get 80% of what you get now, and that's okay. Or you just keep him and you pocket the draft pick in the 30s, and you still gotten one more premium year out of maybe a third straight Cy Young, who knows, kind of season out of Tarek Skubal. But with that said, everybody has a price. I mean, you could certainly build a case with the Red Sox of a tasty package of players that I'd be, let's do that, So I think I think it's the kind of winter where Harris has to shop him at least and see what is available, and I'm sure he's going to, if not, he already has. But again, if they aren't satisfied right down the row of what they want, get exactly what they want, then they keep them for another year and see if they can make a run to win an American League pennant and get into the World Series.
Tasty package is what I heard.
Yeah, I know. When that came out of my mouth, I was like, wow, that was not good.
If they, gave him that lifetime deal or whatever, just keep him here forever. But that just is not Scott Harris's MO to me, I don't think. And I talked about this before, but I think it was on last week's show, is that that 4-year deal that they offered him, the reported 4-year deal, tells me more than the money. It tells me that Scott Harris isn't comfortable offering any pitcher more than 4 years. Because if you're not going to offer Tarek Skubal more than 4 years after he wins the Cy Young, or basically when he's about to win the Cy Young, who are you going to offer more than 4 years to? You're going to offer a 4-year deal to 37-year-old Chris Bassett, 28-year-old Dustin May. I just think that Scott Harris believes that pitchers, I bet you anything, he's got all the data to back it up. That any deal longer than 4 years is probably going to end up hurting you. And you can just kind of look in Tigers' recent history. I don't know, who did they sign for 4 years? Zimmerman was a 5-year deal, right? They didn't work out great. Eduardo Rodriguez was like a 4 or 5 year deal with a 2-year opt out after 2. I don't see them for as good as Skubal is, and it would not shock me at all if Skubal continues to be very good for another 5-6 years. It also wouldn't shock me if he gets hurt and is never the same again. It's tough with pitchers, and it's not a great situation to be in. And it's just the sort of thing, like, you see what the Dodgers have done is basically go out and acquire every player they can, like Skubal, Glasnow, and Snell, and all these guys who have terrific strikeout stuff, but maybe can't stay healthy or can't pitch a ton. Now, Skubal hasn't had that many injury issues, but they just want the stuff. And what they can do is they can afford to have guys on the injury list for half the year. The Tigers cannot do that, or at least they're not willing to, right? Like they could have $300 million payroll if they wanted, or 350 if they wanted. They're not willing to. They're not willing to basically spend more than half of their revenue. So here we are. You can't give a guy $45 million a year because you're not going to spend on other players around him.
The problem with, by the way, Trent Grissom is his defense is, And
he's, talking about like guys who've had, one big year, right? Like he's been a solid player for a long time, but this was his first like monster year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He's actually had, if you look back, he's had more bad seasons than good. So it's really hard to invest in that.
Yeah.
Trust it.
The previous 3 years, he hit 184, 198, and 190 with a 284 on base, 315 on base, 290 on base. So 235 with a 348 on base is nice. 125 W or OPS plus, but yeah, I mean that's you just got to really trust your projections on somebody like that, right? Like that's a player that you could be getting him right as he's figuring things out, or you could just be buying right after a ridiculous career year. And he's got a qualifying offer attached, I think.
And B. Foss, that's fair. I understand that Meadows struggled this year, and whether the
Anderson, what are you doing?
Oh man, that was almost a Wes Anderson type of moment. No, I understand why people were not sold on Meadows because his struggles with the second half. He's a guy who he hit a lot of power, but he didn't hit for average, did he? It's average.
No, he's a career 218 hitter.
Yeah,
with a 321 on base. He had 235 this year in his career year. Again, if you're going to play center field and hit 30 home runs and steal, did he go 30-30? No, he stole 3 bases. So, I don't know. Like, I understand people not being sold on Parker Meadows. Parker Meadows is still relatively young with like fewer than 700 career big league plate appearances. And he's already at like 3 WAR. If you get a solid version of Parker Meadows, you're just fine. And they have Max Clark. Like, I'm not saying that Max Clark is going to take over and be the center fielder and be a fixture there for 5-6 years. I think he might still be better off in left or right, but he's certainly capable of playing center field at the big league level. And I don't know, like, I'm not going to spend a bunch of money and a qualifying offer, so a draft pick on a left-handed hitting outfielder when that's basically all they have.
I just think too, I'm willing to, on Meadows, given his defense, I'm willing to be patient and go one more year with him at least. He was nicked up pretty bad this year. I mean, a couple of injuries that who knows how that affected him down the stretch. He just never, it was just a weird year. I would love to see him come back next year and be healthy and see what they have.
Yeah. And it's one, like, I understand why you would look at Trey Sweeney and go, I don't think that's going to work. Because he's a guy that never produced a ton, and he can't hit fastballs, which isn't great. We've seen flashes from Parker Meadows, enough to make me like, okay, like I said, like if he can be healthy, I'm giving him 2026, at least the first half, right, to prove it that he belongs. And if he doesn't, well, like I said, you got Clark behind him, and if not, you can maybe pursue somebody in the trade market. You've got Winsel Perez as kind of a backup. It's not necessarily an ideal center fielder either, but he can play. They've got some options there. It's just it wouldn't be my priority. Like Harrison Bader is out there too.
Yeah,
there's some interesting outfielders, but I get it if people don't think that like he's a key part of the future.
Holy crap! A Rockies pitching prospect. That's a rare sight.
Which one is it? This is Cade Denton. Cade Denton. There's another baseball.
They just fired their GM and they hired a guy who was he was a Cleveland Brown. He was part of the Guardians that became part of the Browns front office.
DePodesta.
Yeah.
Paul DePodesta. This would be a very forward thinking hire 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was.
Was he the Dodgers GM too at some point?
He was. He was. For all intents and purposes, Jonah Hill in Moneyball
Yes.
was.
Sorry.
The Jonah Hill character in Moneyball was basically Paul DePodesta. He was not named. He was Peter Brand in that. DePodesta didn't want him, to be in that. And then he became the GM for the Dodgers, and the Dodgers media absolutely tore him apart.
Yeah.
They called him Google Boy because he was all in like this, and he made some bad trades, and they didn't have a good season, and he got fired after I think 3 or 4 years, and then was kicking around. I think he was with the Mets for a while, and then randomly, it was kind of odd that he went to the Browns. I was like, what's that all about? And he's been there for, I don't know, 7-8 years. Engineered that blockbuster Deshaun Watkins deal.
Yes.
Deshaun Watson. Now he's with, like, I don't know. It's not the worst hire in the world. It just does feel, like I said, it feels a couple decades too late.
By the way, Jeff Pontus had the best on Baseball America. He said this on Instagram. He said a stat about the Rockies, and shout out to Jeff Pontus, one of the a great human being, said during the Baseball America podcast that the Rockies' first 15 years in existence is actually better than their last 15 years. Something to that effect.
Wow.
In terms of like how well they've been playing and how bad of an organization they've been. I looked it up and he's dead on. Like it's spot on that during their expansion years into if you look at they became an expansion team in 1993. So this is a team that wasn't too far removed from the playoffs from 2018. It's been a joke ever since. Like you talk about like it is, but anyways, just the matter. They went to the World Series in 2007. They got swept in the World Series, but my God, man, 2 seasons. I mean, there were 2 years after they became an expansion team. They were in the postseason, but it speaks for itself. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, I mean, the interesting, like everybody understands that it's just going to be really hard to ever find good pitching in Colorado to get good quality pitchers there. That it's just a terrible place to pitch. What they had success with very early on was super powerful offenses. They just leaned right into it. Like, all right, we're just going to get the best hitters and hitters for power we can get. And you end up with like Ellis Burks and Larry Walker and Andres Galarraga and Dante Bichette putting up these monstrous offensive seasons because they took advantage of that. And they just, like, who's the last really good hitter they've had?
Troy
Tulowitzki. I mean,
Matt Holliday.
Yeah, like what's his name? Who's the lefty with the beard? Charlie Blackmon was pretty good for a while. Like I think he's a lefty, but yeah, they haven't been able to get those big hitters. They went and signed Chris Bryant for $1 billion, and unfortunately his back disintegrated. But it's just kind of puzzling that they can't put together a good offense, and they actually have a pretty solid, like, international pipeline comparatively speaking, but just hasn't been able to work.
So speaking of teams, somebody mentioned earlier, is there a team that the Tigers could make a trade with? Like Jim, I think it was Jim mentioned this earlier. You know what? You want to get starting pitching from. If they're going to, I know German Marquez's numbers were absolute shite, comparatively speaking. But if you're going to pick up a guy for the end of your rotation, might as well look at that. Look at even Mackenzie Gore for the Nationals. Because I don't know what the Rockies are going to do if they're just going to tear everything down for a dollar, for pennies on a dollar kind of situation. But Marquez may just need a situation, although his strikeout numbers are atrocious. But again, you're pitching in Colorado.
Let's check his splits, home and road splits. See if there's anything there. I don't know. Like it will be kind of interesting to, Enrique. It'll be interesting to see what DePodesta does. I mean, the Tigers just brought in somebody who had been coaching with the Rockies for a long time, right?
Yeah.
Was it their first base coach?
Yeah, the guy was in Baltimore, you mean?
Yeah, I think he'd been with the Rockies for a long time.
He's a baseball strategy guy, right?
Bases loaded. So bases loaded, 2 outs for McGonigle here. So
Marquez had a 7.32 ERA on the road this year.
Ooh.
5.98 at home.
All right, never mind. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was just One of the things they say is that when you get used to playing at Colorado, it actually is worse. Oh, there's a rare McGonigle chase there, but you saw it was a good changeup away.
Yeah, with one. So because I also think we've talked about this and BFOS, that what concerns me is Lisa. Wow, not blank all of a sudden. Lisa Olson, where if he's going to be healthy or not to be staying in the rotation the whole year. So they still need a lot of pitching depth.
Oh. So close.
Wish she had that one back.
This is
no, Mitchell, that's a good question, and I think you're fine. That's a okay.
Good eye. This is what's fun about McGonigle is that it's very rare where you don't get a good plate appearance from him. If you do, it's usually like he gets a pitch to hit, he just doesn't hit it.
Damn it!
Pound leather.
Was left his bat at 109.2 miles an hour.
Nice. Yeah. Now, Raj,
Rocky's pitcher was like, "Man, I got away with that." What's up?
Yeah, you did. So, Raj, you didn't say what you think about Skubal earlier.
I think that the Tigers should be able to. I wrote about this about I'm getting sick and tired of being like the Midwest narrative about he's going to be going to an East Coast team and everything. It's burning me out, but I don't think they're going to trade him. I mean, if they're going to trade him, his trade value would be now. If you trade him at the trade deadline, I don't think you get as much as because then at that point he would have to sign for an extension, either regardless of where he's going to be going. I wish the Tigers didn't have to trade him. Wish the Tigers would get an extension and sign him. I think he's a guy who's a long-term guy, but unfortunately, I don't know. Harris is non-committal about the whole thing, which means to tell me that I don't think he really. I mean, I think they have an idea what they're going to do, but the whole entire Scott Boras using John Heyman as his mouthpiece to kind of get out there that they haven't offered the full value of his deal and all that. It's all bullshit to me. I understand why it goes on, but ultimately this, I think the Tigers should trade. If there's a team out there that knocks you over with an offer that you cannot. If the thing about Harris is Harris is looking for a specific type of pack of players, and so if he gets what he wants, I think Skubal goes. But we've heard that Harris. It's hard to negotiate, I guess, from what we heard. But honestly, like as Mitchell would say, like if it's not like three guys that you can see starting in your major league roster tomorrow, there's no point of trading them. Period. I'm sorry, you get what you want out of this. You don't trade for pennies on the dollar. What the hell's that guy's face? He looks very stiff. Look at him. He's like, hey.
He looks like a me.
Sure.
Yeah.
From the Wii. Yeah,
BFOS, like, dude, Seattle is really good. Seattle's farm system is really good right now. And if I'm Jerry DePuto, look, we pitched in Seattle University. Dude, bring him home. And I wouldn't mind trading with Seattle at all.
I'd rather trade him to a National League team, but
yeah, it's true. Yeah,
I think the Cubs have guys.
Cubs?
Well,
yeah.
I feel like you may have to do a 3-team trade to get it done if you really care about it. If you're really desperate to move them, because I don't know, like the Red Sox have some pitching, the Mets have some pitching, the Dodgers always have pitching, the Yankees have pitching. Like there are teams that have pitching.
I don't think the Yankees have that much pitching. That's just me, though.
Well, I mean, they've got Schlittler, they've got Cruz Rodriguez, they've got Carlos DeGrange. Those guys are all interesting. Will Warren is another young starter that they have that the Tigers wanted before. So it's like, that was a strike. You're a catcher. You should know better, Chris. And,
Coin's making sense. He's spot on right there. It's one of those things that Scott Boras is going to drive. He drives his guys to free agency. And that's why it's like you have to kind of accept it's a reality. Unfortunately, Tiger fans have to accept.
Yeah, I mean, Boris, he doesn't force these guys to free. Like if Skubal, it's kind of like the Chris Ilitch thing. If Chris Ilitch went to Scott Harris and said, "You have to sign Tarek Skubal. I don't care what it costs," they would sign him. And if Skubal went to Scott Boris and said, "I want to stay with the Tigers, make it happen," Boris would do it. It's just one of those things where I think Skubal is perfectly willing to get to free agency because he's going to get more money that way. But, but Boris, Boris is ultimately working for Skubal,
right?
So he's going to do what the client wants.
And he's gotten so close now to free agency. This is going to be his one shot at the market, right? Mm-hmm. Under the age of 30. This is the one. If you're going to do it, this is when you want to do it. He's basically gambling that he's going to stay healthy for one more year. I don't think that's a terrible bet given what we've seen and the last couple of years. And if you make him that big Godfather offer right now, the Tigers would still make that same offer next winter. So why should he sign it now?
Yeah. I mean, the only reason you would do it is just for insurance in case you get hurt, right? Like,
yep.
If Skubal, goes out and blows out his arm again, I mean, what's he getting? You're heading into an offseason with a possible lockout. You're probably coming back and signing like a 1 to 2 year, probably just a 1 year deal, actually, when you come back, a prove it deal with a bunch of incentives to try to get your value again. And then you're a free agent at what, age 31, 32?
Yeah.
As far as like those teams go, yes, those I think.
Oh,
whoa! What the hell just happened there?
That was a tough play. Anderson should have probably taken that play.
Yeah.
So McGonigle.
My bad, man. I'm on the live stream right now and I'm trying to get all the attention I can get. Let's see here.
So it's a funky.
Wow, that's a broken bat. That's a saw off there. Wow.
Kindling. And then so I think that's a play that Anderson should grab and I mean, that's one of the things when you've got a guy that he's played shortstop all year, right? But he's still relatively inexperienced at pro ball, and Anderson is inexperienced at third base. So, but I think generally speaking, you want your third baseman to take that ball and fire it over. But here's Adam Chusky.
I mentioned the Cubs earlier. They between Jackson Wiggins and Owen Casey and a couple of their other hitters, I could see the Cubs making an offer on Skubal, and I think they might want 1 year of him, thinking they could do something in the National League next year.
Well, I mean, they did a similar deal with Kyle Tucker this year, right? They traded their first round pick and Isaac Paredes for 1 year of Kyle Tucker. Just the sort of trade you don't see very often, but they did it, and maybe they could do it again. Cade Horton is a good young pitcher. I don't think they'd part with him, but they might want somebody to, go along with him. I don't know if Steele is going to be back or not.
But also at the same time with the Cubs, there's so many ties with the Tigers and Cubs organization wise. I mean, you have Jeff, the Tigers GM right now, Greenberg. You have Greenberg there that comes out of. There's just the amount of they just hired somebody too from the performance side of things, right? Mm-hmm. From the Cubs.
Yeah, I think it's their new, vice president of baseball strategy or whatever they call it. Whatever kind of.
Yeah. By the way, B. Foster, again, Cam Smith. It was one of those guys I wish the Tigers would have drafted. Chris is my witness. Cam, yeah, I said that Cam Smith was going to be a major leaguer day one.
Oh yeah, I know he did.
I mean, we had him. I think you had him. Oh, there's a nice hit by Adam Kuski. Yeah, it was one of the. I think we both had him as one of our top two choices that year, partially because we didn't think Rayner was going to get there. I think Rayner was my top choice, and then Smith was second or third. I think I had Tibbs ahead of him, which looks bad now. But yeah, I mean, he to get to the majors so quickly, and he kind of had it was just like a decent season. But anybody who gets to the majors that quickly, it's kind of like a Wyatt Langford thing, right? Like he's not going to set the world on fire the first year or two, but by year 3 or 4, he's going to be a really good player, probably. No, I think it's an outfield for a third baseman, but
well, here's the thing: Cassidy doesn't make sense with Motor City with Green and Carp. Yes and no, Mitchell, but Green and Carp also have not been. Green's been playing on injuries. Carp has been injured. And look, Lombard to me did not. I'm sorry, Lombard did not impress me that much in his AA debut. So you heard that? You heard that, sir?
Yeah, Lombard.
Yeah,
different Lombard. No, I mean, that's the thing. Is Lombard was a 20-year-old, I think, in AA, right?
Yeah,
I think he's younger than McGonigle and Clark. Maybe he might not be younger than Clark, but he's roughly the same age as those dudes. And yeah, he didn't perform all that well in AA. I think he had basically was too good. Oh, there's a nice play by Max Anderson.
Nice.
Digging the short hop. Yeah, I have to look, but Lombard had done well enough in high A that he was deserving of the call up. But just I don't think you make him the centerpiece of your deal. But like I said, like LaGrange and Cruz Rodriguez are both big arms who have very interesting upside to me.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, look, the bottom line is if they have that familiarity with some teams, and I think they put up with that. I don't know. I just think Lombard. I don't know. I'm not really sold on him. So,
have you guys seen a lot of the Mets prospects that have been bandied about for the Scooble?
Yeah.
I figured you did.
I mean, what's funny is I actually like. I mean, Nolan McLean is the guy that you want, right? If they give you McLean, I think you can make that trade. But they're not going to give you McLean, so they're going to offer you Sprout and Tong. And I'm not crazy about either of those guys. I know a lot of people were crazy, like Tong put up these monster numbers. But I just think of how many starting pitchers, successful starting pitchers in the big leagues have a super funky, unusual delivery.
No.
The occasional lefty. Right, like a Sale or something like that, where they're super low. Like Tong is just you could maybe you say you savage because he's like over the top, but you just don't see guys like that last. I don't know if I don't know if it's a like an injury thing, but I also think that like a lot of what makes pitchers like that dominant in the minors is it's just such a funky look. And the minor league hitters can't deal with it. Major league hitters are better at dealing with that, and particularly when they see you the second and third time. And I'm not sure I would make Tong the centerpiece of any deal like that. I like that dude we saw in Erie more than Tong and Sprout.
Jack Winninger was truth, man. That guy was able. Good call, Chris. That guy was able to. I thought a really good job of keeping. He had 24 swings and misses that game. 24 swings and misses.
And it was an awesome game plan that he executed perfectly. He came out and was basically just dominating with his splitter for the first 3 innings, first time through the order. Just nasty splitters, a 70 grade splitter. And then, but he would come back with, mid to upper 90s fastballs. And the fastballs itself, I don't think are particularly special, but when you've established that nasty splitter, and then out of nowhere he breaks out a cutter and a curveball or whatever, and it's like, get out of here, man! He struck out McGonigle 3 times, which I don't think it happened all year.
On 2 swings, and it was 2 swings. I was all on 3 swings and misses too.
It was on 3 different pitches.
Yeah,
it was like and again, it's AA, but he just looked to me like he looked to me like a really legit potential mid rotation starter down the road.
He was the best pitcher. I think he was the best pitcher I saw the entire second half of the year.
Really?
Against Erie. Yeah. Honestly, he came out and dominated, and against a team that, keep in mind that Erie, they had a lot of guys that were able to extend at bats, and no one could extend any at bats against them. Nobody.
Yeah. And like you saw Susanna in person, and we saw him later in the year where he'd get 12, 13 strikeouts, and it was just purely dominating stuff. But he did not have the command of his stuff that Winninger did. Winninger was pounding the strike zone. Like Susanna's got insane stuff, but you wonder if he can throw enough strikes and pitch deep enough into games. So yeah, I mean, he was, just a really good looking pitcher, and that's like the Mets. Like you look on lists, and he's like their 8th or 10th best prospect. I would have him higher, but
yeah, he'd be top. He'd be a top 5. He'd be a top 5 Tiger prospect.
Yeah,
or
for
top
sure, he'd be
3.
the number 1 pitching prospect for sure, pretty easily.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, hands down. And the thing is about for a second, Chris. The one thing about him in person is you could tell after a while, some lengthy at bats got to him because they were even early on. He started the first game of the season, and it was cold as hell.
Yeah.
And even this is Erie without McGonigle, without Clark yet, and you could tell that he's a reliever, just reliever risk all down the line. And then he was injured. I think he missed a month, I believe, or something like that. But I always felt like you had a chance against Susanna because even with 103, 102, he was throwing on a dot. It wasn't. Some of it was some of it had some movement, but not like what Willinger did. So
if they do a deal with the Red Sox, does it have to bring back pitching in your mind?
Oh yeah, no doubt. They have to get pitching. They don't have a lot of guys in AAA and AA right now that are ready to come up to the MLB right now. They don't. They really don't. It's they have a lot of guys that are coming back from injury. You don't know what's going to happen with Madden. You don't know what's going to happen with Sort Gibson Long. There's a lot of uncertainty, so they have to address their rotation in some way, shape, or form this year in the offseason. So I think that they have to get some young arms, and with the amount of injuries that happen, contrary to what Robert James said on Twitter, like, "Oh, it's just it's a year." No, it's longer than that. It's been going on for a couple of years now, and I think that the Tigers should address this immediately. And I think that they need some more depth arm wise. Because the same exact problem once again came back to bite them in the ass from last year. They didn't have enough damn arms to get them through the postseason.
Well, yeah, and yeah, it was. They thought that they were really going to address that, and they went out and signed, Alex Cobb, who never pitched, and Flaherty had a down year. But yeah, it's part of it. I think is spending so much capital on high school pitchers who, even when they're healthy, it takes them a long time to. And Jackson Jobe moved relatively quickly despite multiple injuries, and still got hurt. Now I will be really fascinated to see this year's draft class. With Malachi Witherspoon and the 3 lefties and Cale Witwiska, those guys all look very interesting. And it's possible that by, this time next year, 1 or 2 of those guys is threatening to get to the rotation already. Like it seems unlikely just based on, that would be a best case scenario, but they're good arms there. And it would be interesting to see that. So we'll see. But yeah, I do feel like they need to figure something out, and they need to fill in those gaps because the number of pitching prospects between high A and triple A, there are what, 2 of them?
2 tops.
2. I mean, we have Elisalt and Sears, I think, and then I guess Jake Miller you could put in there.
Wow.
It's just not. Yeah, I mean, Kelvis Salcedo looked amazing at the end of the year. Maybe he could move really quickly, but he's like a 19-year-old. So
yeah,
they've just got some gaps to fill.
It's a concern, and I think that they should be able to hopefully do something with that. Dylan Smith it would be nice to see Dylan Smith come back in the form. He was a little banged up this year, but
and he was amazing early on in the season, and we talked about this, that he's a reliever. They moved him into the relief role, and he was doing really well. And then for the first time in his life, he pitched on back-to-back days, and then he was hurt. They never had him pitch back-to-back days in the minors, and so they didn't know how that would work. There you go. Yeah, I mean, Jaden Ham was basically a lost year for Jaden Ham. He went out there and pitched, but he got hurt too. I think it was a groin issue with him, whatever, fancy term for a groin. And when he was rehabbing down in Lakeland, his velocity was 88 to 90.
Yeah. And
it never got much higher than 92 in Erie. So it was not great. So we see Max Anderson here with his 3rd at bat. This is probably his final action. And I assume McGonigle's done for the day too. And I may have to dip out here in a second myself.
Yeah, same here.
So maybe we can get Anderson to do something good before we leave.
Yeah, it would be ideal. And by the way, on the article, I did a quarter century article on the best players from Toledo and Erie in terms of seasons. So if you go to TigersMLReport.com, there's an article based off like Stephen Boyle made the list a couple times, but tomorrow will be West Michigan and Lakeland with Onondaga. Is it Onondaga? I never can say it right.
Oneonta.
Oneonta, thank you, and Connecticut. So yeah, you know what? That's great.
Another monstrous blast for Max Anderson.
Listen, there's nobody on third base that time, Max. Don't do that.
See, Alan, that's okay. That's a really legitimate point you made there. A really good point here is that a lot of times they had to scour the independent leagues because they didn't have much of a choice because they didn't have they needed arms. Gouache came to mind. Right. They had to be creative with it. Whoa, another wild pitcher. Now look how far that bounced up.
That was just ball 3, though, right?
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. So, Alan, I'm with you there. That's a legitimate point that's been brought up a couple times too.
Well, one thing I haven't looked into this too much, and again, I don't know how much. When Scott Harris was in San Francisco, they had a draft where they took a bunch of pitchers, and I don't think any of them worked out. I don't know. I tend to give credit to Mark Connor for the draft picks. Scott Harris, I'm sure, sets the direction or whatever, but Mark Connor is the scouting director. So I wouldn't necessarily blame Scott Harris for that in San Francisco, but it is like, if you really want to be negative about it, you can look at that and say, oh, he's got a track record of not getting the right pitchers in the draft.
Yeah.
If you wanted to be negative.
Yeah.
So here we go. There's Max Anderson. That was a sword on a pitch that was up and in.
Yeah.
But,
all right. So, yeah, on that note, though, I think, we'll end the stream there. But we'll be – so Thursday?
Yeah.
So Thursday, we'll be back on Thursday. Quintero, Sheeran, Jack Fair. Mitchell, there's so many different possibilities we'll see here. I will be happy with guys that can play tomorrow on the big league roster. That's what I'd be happy with. Guys that can come in and be impactful right away. So,
yeah, you're not making a trade of Skubal unless you're getting a MLB pitcher right now. That has to be one of the pieces you're getting. You're not trading Skubal. The Tigers are, not a World Series favorite, but they are a viable World Series team if things go right. They need you can't just be like, let's just reset and get a bunch of A-ball guys. They would need to get a legitimate, good, young MLB starter and then prospects to make it work, in my mind at least.
By the way, Mike Hessman did not make the squad. I understand I would get a lot of grief for that, but you understand when you read the qualifications on why he didn't make the roster, you understand. He was 30 years old when he hit those numbers.
Yeah, that was, you're trying to keep it somewhat prospect-y, right? Like, not everybody was a prospect. They weren't all. Some of them had been to big leagues and then back down in the minors, but it's a bit when you got like the all-time home run leader. You could pick him for third base or whatever if you wanted. But
we can name the team after him. There we go.
There you go.
Hessman squad. There we go.
Well, my last thing on is this. I think if that trade happens, I'm really intrigued by the other rumors that the Red Sox are shopping Jarren Duran. And if they want Skubal and they wanted to put that guy in there with a couple of those good arms they have, I think there's a deal to be made there.
So, well, here's the fun thing about that. Is now Raj got this intel, so I don't want to claim like I have it, but Jarren Duran is widely viewed as a terrible teammate and possibly a horrible person in some regard. Which is why the Red Sox are looking at trying to trade again. A guy who's got like 14 WAR over the last 2 years. Now, if you believe enough in your clubhouse and your culture, right, then maybe you go for it. But there's a reason the Red Sox are trying to trade him, and it's not just because they have a bunch of good young outfielders. It's because they don't really want him.
Well, then
did I sum that up all right, Raj? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
You summed it up perfectly. You couldn't say any better.
Well, if they want to get rid of him that bad, then they also have to put Marcelo Meyer in there. And
that would be the ultimate irony of that all. If
It would be funny.
if Marcelo Meyer comes back as the Detroit Tiger, that would be I would laugh my ass off. I would go on the live stream, laugh for a good 10 minutes, and call it a night, because that's just that would be absurd. They knew, as a corner outfielder, yes. Again, I know he would take a spot away from Riley Green and all that, but that being said, I don't think he fit the clubhouse.
I don't think you want him. I don't think you want him playing center in Comerica.
No,
it was like it's one of those things where the defensive metrics were good 2 years ago and
they
they're bad
off
this year. So I don't know.
Yeah,
fair enough.
So all right,
good player.
Yeah, very good player. Just,
extra base hit machine.
Yes, but not here. So
okay.
Thank you so much for watching. Tune with us this evening on a Sunday night, as we will be, like I said, back Thursday. Check out the article. Go to TigersNLReport.com. Become a Patreon member. The article, like I said, the amount of the break, kind of the small mini break we've had is over a little bit, because I'm not gonna lie, it's burned out with everything. But with everything personal going on too as well, it's just check us out also on the Roundtable. If you go to Roundtable, the Roundtable app, there's Tiger articles there as well. There's a feature for you guys to contribute, and you can do articles of your own. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I appreciate Coin Making Sense. Welcome aboard. That was the first time I've seen you in here, so good to see you. Squeakgoat as well. Alan as always. Mitchell as always. Kevin. And good to see B Foster in here too. I always love seeing B Foster in here. And we'll and see Buck as well. And Crazy Clown, good to see you here as well. Have a good night, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching.